All right, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this really exciting release and this exciting preview that we're talking about today, being automations for our funnel platform. So today I'm joined by our MD and product manager, Tim Oswald.
Hi.
So he's been kind enough to join us, and I'm the director of sales and marketing here at Digistorm. My name is Chris Lang. So firstly, I'm just going to run you through a bit of who Digistorm are. I'm sure that if you are attending this webinar, you probably know us and hopefully use our funnel platform. But for those that don't know it and are joining us, look, Digistorm has about 45 team members. We are located on the sunny Gold Coast, and we also have an office in beautiful Denver in Colorado that we opened pre-COVID in February. Great decision. And look, we work with about 600 schools around the world. And our enrollments platform, being Funnel, is one of our largest offerings and used by over 300 schools throughout Australia and the world as well. So today, what we're going to be going through is our new automations platform. Okay, so automations was built into Funnel, and we're going to go through a few questions with Tim and I. We're going to do a bit of a demo of a few automations that we've set up in preparation for today. And then what we'll do as well, we'll catch up and we'll do a Q&A at the end of the session. So please feel free to jot down any questions you may have, and we'll do our best to answer you at the end of the session. All right, cool. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. Okay. So look, first things first, I guess the big question is, what are automations?
Okay. So automations are a way of, not doing the same thing 100 times.
Sure.
Where we're giving you the tools to automate these things, so that potentially repetitive tasks or really time intensive tasks can be automated by Funnel.
Yeah.
And that's the really quick sort of elevator
automations.
Pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And why, we get a lot of feature requests, a lot. Why did we choose to build automations as part of Funnel?
Kind of because of that.
Yeah.
So each school is different. We know that. We've worked with them for a long time now, and you find that we get feature requests all the time that are very specific to a school's need.
Sure.
And often those needs can be mirrored across all of our customers, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're very, very specific. To the size of that school or the religion of that school, or the special interest of the school, whatever it might be. As product managers, we have to draw a line in the sand and say, is this feature going to be good for the entire user base? And sometimes they're not, but they'll be very good for that one school. So what automations does is it gives you the ability to create those workflows that are very specific to you, and to build them exactly how you want them.
Yeah, sure. Cool. And I guess, I know that there are a lot of challenges building this feature. We've been working on it for months. Are you able to just run through a couple for me?
Sure. The biggest is definitely the complexity of the tool. So I don't know if anyone watching has worked with an automation platform before. They're very comprehensive, almost unlimited permutations of different actions and events that you can use to build these things. So we wanted to make them as easy to approach as possible for our users. So rather than sort of bombarding everyone with this crazy, unlimited system, we've pared it back to a point that we think is perfect for Funnel and for our users. and makes the ability to do automations, approachable.
Sure.
So you'll have confidence doing what you're doing.
Sure. So making hard things look easy. Yeah, cool.
That's what we're about.
Yeah. Look, one of my favorite features of Funnel, and I know, well, I'd hope a lot of our schools, is the ability to filter, and how we filter family information or child information. I know we've updated that a bit. So are you just able to expand on that for me a little bit?
Sure. Our existing filter, as powerful as it is, it had limitations in what you could actually find.
Sure.
You want to be able to dig down into the data and find exactly what you want, and to filter or segment your leads exactly how you want. So what we've done is we've introduced a few more categories to our condition editor or our filter that not only allow you to filter by the existing filter types that you've seen in there, but also by guardians, by lists or segments. For example, you might want to know if someone's been in a list or is in a list at the moment,
Sure.
or potentially has been or not been in a segment. And also introduced, really powerful tools around email and campaigns, where you can send an email and then check if someone actually clicked on a link in that email, or if the email bounced.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite parts of it. I'm really excited about that, and we'll show that soon as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, within schools, we often work with a few different teams, sometimes marketing, administration, as well as our core enrollments teams. Are you going to just briefly touch on how these teams can benefit from automations?
Yeah. Each of the teams that use Funnel will use automations differently.
Yeah.
So if you're in marketing, you'll be very focused on emails and events and form submissions and conversions, things like that. Yeah. If you're in the admissions team or administrative staff, you might be looking to sanitize data as it comes in, or check that certain documents have been received, and create tasks if they haven't, all those sorts of things. So there's something for everyone in automations. And I think, any team that uses Funnel is going to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can, for example, a workflow or an automation help a school re-engage those families who've gone dark? And they always slip through the cracks. I know there's always a lot.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
So we have a few sort of ways you can attack that. One of them is a new computed property that we added to leads recently, which checks how many days they've been idle for, or how many days they've kind of gone off the radar.
Yep.
So, we can calculate, whether it's been a week since you've had any sort of contact with the family.
Or a year.
Yeah, or a year.
Yeah.
And after that time, you can initiate like an email sort of drip campaign to that family. Or it might be as simple as just creating a task for your internal team to follow up with a phone call.
Cool.
And invite them to an open day or something like that.
Yeah, sure. And can a school go back and edit like a workflow once it's been turned on?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that you were very confident using this tool. So we've made it as easy as possible that you can just jump in there, turn it off if there's something you need to change about it, or if you're not confident it's performing the way you want it to, or you might want to improve on it. So you can pause it for a moment, make your changes, and you can actually do that in real time as well.
Cool. Can we manually subscribe like a family or a lead to an automation as well?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So you can do that in bulk from the lead table page, or you can do it direct from the lead detail page as well.
Awesome. Now, I know automations will be firing off for a lot of schools constantly. Can they see the status and history and work of a particular automation?
Yeah, it was a key piece of automations, is making sure that you've got confidence to go back and see what actually happened. So we've got a complete sort of audit log, you call it, where you can see exactly when a lead entered the automation, when it left, and then all of the things that happened to it, in between.
Yeah, cool. When will automations be available?
So we're going to
That's important.
Yeah. We want to go beta this week, within a week, with a few selected schools.
Yep.
And then a couple of weeks after that, we'll have it general availability for the rest of us.
Cool. And obviously the question I think a lot of people here is always one of the first questions is cost.
Yeah.
So I might touch on that.
Yeah,
so look, for those schools that have Funnel, our CRM component of Funnel, not just the enrollment form, funnel will be included, and automations will be included as part of your license fee. If you are just on our enrollment form package and you have the enrollment platform, you will need to upgrade to incorporate the CRM component, and a lot of that as well is due to the fact that we're using a lot of that CRM componentry for this workflows module. Cool. So look, what we're going to do now, let's jump in and have a look at how it goes. Yeah.
Do some demos.
Cool. All right. So Tim, I'm going to hand this off to you. I'll just run through this screen here. So
Okay.
if you don't mind. So automations will now be hosted under a little under the More menu. So once you click on More, there'll be an automations, and you'll be able to see any automations that you've created that are either in a draft state or also live. Okay. At this time, you can see when they've been updated. I can manually add a custom automation from scratch. So if I was to do that, I click on that top right hand corner, and you can see here I can start with a blank canvas. Now, in order to get schools off the ground early, we are going to have a selection of curated kind of templates that we feel a lot of schools should take advantage. So they'll be here on the left hand side, but I can, as I said, I can create one from scratch. For this demo, however, we're going to run through a few. I think it'll be easier to explain to you. We've got some simple ones and some not so simple ones that we've put together just to show you the breadth and scale of this module and its capabilities. And I'll pass over to Tim for the student interest groups one here as well.
Sure. Okay. So this is your editor. At the top of the page, you'll see the trigger condition. So this will
trigger condition.
Yeah, so this will basically define, what characteristics a lead has to enter the automation.
Okay.
So in this example, it's a pretty simple one. It's just they've been moved to close one, or they've accepted enrollment. So once the lead enters the automation, they start moving from top to bottom.
Sure.
So the very first action that they're going to encounter here is going to be essentially a branch. So we're checking to see if at some point in time we've captured the student's interest and that they are interested in art. So yes, they're interested in art. They're going to follow this yes branch, where we're going to send them, an internal team an email.
An automated notification.
Yeah, so this might be, sending it off to the art department to let them know that the student's coming, and maybe they can reach out to them directly.
Cool.
If in this example they weren't interested in art, we add another condition to check if they're potentially interested in performing arts area of the school. And again, if they are, we can send an internal notification to someone in that team, prompting further sort of follow-up.
Cool.
And one thing I will quickly touch on here too, once you're ready with your automation, you can click publish. This will give you some information about what's about to happen, giving you opportunity to change things if you think you've missed something. And also quickly jump into settings. We do have some guides coming out in conjunction with the release of automations that are going to describe all of these options and a lot of the automation features in general. So we'll send those through soon.
Yep.
But you can see here there are quite a few settings for more advanced users, and it gives you that extra level of control.
Cool. Awesome.
So I'll jump back out and Chris can
Great. So
take us through the next one.
I'm going to run through another kind of more administrative focused one here, and that's just an internal workflow when a student onboarding. Okay, so again, these are just ones that we've come up with on the fly. The schools can edit it at any time. So for this one, we've got when the lead equals closed one. So, again, they maybe offer has been accepted and they're indicating that they're going to be starting next year with the school. And also we've indicated because for year 2021, obviously there's a bit more urgency for those families that are coming next year. So what that might do is that will just create a task, okay, to update medical details, and we can actually assign it to a certain person within the school or within your funnel instance. And you can add reminders. And we've also created another task to request IT to set up student accounts or whatever it may be. Now, at the end of that as well, we've got another condition. So we can see if this family belongs to junior school, what we might do is create a task, or we could even send an email to send, the junior school permission slip or excursion approval form to this family, okay? Again, we could add an automation to actually send this off automatically, but for this instance, we've just added it as a task. And if they're not part of the junior school, it's going to actually see if they're a part of the secondary school and send them more relevant information, or perhaps create the secondary school enrollments officer, a task for them to set that up on their behalf as well. Cool. Let's go down to the welcome workflow, Tim.
Okay. So this would be, part of your onboarding process. In this example, the lead has been moved to close one, so they've accepted enrollment. We might wait a day using this delay, and then we send them like a welcome pack.
Sure.
So that'll be an email, could have attachments or links to more information, regarding their starting at the school. Then we'll wait another 5 days and check if that email was opened. So that gives you ability to make decisions based on other items that may have occurred in this automation. So on this no branch, potentially they haven't opened the welcome email yet, and we might want to create an internal task to reach out to the family and just confirm that they actually received the welcome pack.
Yeah, cool.
And in this other one, potentially we're wanting to check that they did complete an enrollment form, and we can send an email to the guardians, or it might be sending an internal email.
Sure.
And one thing I should touch on too, these little pluses between each of the actions is how you introduce new actions.
Yeah.
So potentially, at the very start of this automation, we wanted to create a task. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
You enter your task details, save, and a task is the first thing that's created.
Cool. Beautiful. Thank you.
No worries.
All right. So now I'm going to go to a more marketing focused one. This is a much bigger workflow, but I know while it looks a bit daunting, it is actually quite simple and straightforward to set up. So I created this morning. Basically, this is a drip campaign, so what we're talking about before, and this would just be when a family completes an experience day registration. So a lot of schools are doing the virtual experience days now, or they might be completing just a general inquiry form. Okay, and after they complete that inquiry form, we're delaying for 3 days. After that, we send them an email 3 days later with our first email campaign. And what we're seeing a lot of schools doing, I think, Tim, is asking more information, why you're interested or why you're considering our school. Yeah. So it might be their co-curricular program, or it might be their academic achievements. Then any of these communications, you can add that to the trigger, and any of these communications can be targeted based on those interests that they've specified.
Yeah, the more information you're collecting along the way, the more decisions you can make in these automations.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can see here we've got a delay of 7 days between the first and second email, and then a delay of 21 days between the third email. Now, that might be a bit aggressive for many of you, but you could stagger this over the course of 6 months to a year if you do want as well. Now, what we've got down here at the bottom is you can see if contact is open the first email equals yes, we can add a note to their timeline. If the contact open a second email, again, add a note. If they open none of these emails, what we might do is then add this person to a list, and that might call them a disengaged family, and might make a note to get in touch via phone call if you do want to actually reach out to this person directly as well. Cool. All right, so Tim, we'll go through this one, the incentive to complete enrollment.
Cool. Okay. So in this automation, we're checking if a contact, and contact in this case is a lead or a family, has started an enrollment form but didn't complete it.
Yeah.
So we essentially give them 31 days to finish that form, and then we check again. So we're checking for the exact same condition that we checked at the start. We just want to know that they've started the enrollment form but haven't completed it. So if they haven't completed it, we're going to filter out the leads that match this condition. So we want to know, was their year of entry, proposed year of entry 2021, and was it for year one? So sure. We might be, as a school, we might be trying to drive, enrollments into our year one 2021. So we can send out an email to those families that match all of the conditions automation, which might include like a discount code or a coupon code, to enroll at 10% plus, or whatever it might be that you think is going to drive that conversion rate.
Cool. Awesome.
And then,
Chris,
okay. We'll finish on a nice, easy one. So this is just one condition, one action, and we think every school can take advantage of a automation like this. Essentially, we're checking if the lead's birthday is today. And if it's today, we're going to send them a happy birthday email.
Cool. Nice and friendly.
Nice and friendly.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoyed that really, really quick demo. Obviously, there's a lot more that we could show you. But look, what we're going to do in the interest of everyone's time, we're going to open the floor up to questions. I know we've already got a few from you. So I'm going to just get started answering a few of these questions with Tim. And we can, if you do want to just add any questions into the chat, we'll certainly try to address them. But please note, if there are questions that are more related to your personal or your school's existing workflow, it might be best for you, or we can get one of your customer success managers to reach out to you directly and answer those if they're based on your existing workflow. So the first one, can automation enable us to set a series of criteria that triggers a lead to change a pipeline stage? For example, a lead completes an interview, the automation moves into a new pipeline stage.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can set up a condition that matches a particular criteria. It might be they have completed a particular form, or they attended an open day. And then we can change the pipeline stage based on that. Or
even a custom field with a recommendation from the interview, either proceed or do not proceed, 100%. And you could actually match that to the relevant pipeline stage.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, cool. Great. Now, can automation enable input of the email replies from parents into the lead activity?
Sorry, go again.
Can automation enable input of the email replies from parents into the lead activity? Unfortunately not.
Not just yet.
Yeah.
It's on our sort of our pipeline to develop.
One of the highly requested
highly
features.
Requested,
yep.
Yes. So automations obviously is a big tool.
Yep.
It took us a while to build. Once it's out of the way, we can start tackling other things.
Cool. Great. So is there a test mode or a site for automations before you publish them?
Not just yet. We experimented with the idea of a test mode. But it didn't give much value. So you can, we can animate sort of the lines highlighting and leads sort of moving through the automation. But at each stage, you're having to sort of guess, what a particular property might be at that stage. So you can randomly pick one and then it follows that path. We didn't see the value in it initially, but we're more than open to consider it for future, versions if we see the value there for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And I know when I've been testing this, I've just been adding myself and enrolling myself or subscribing myself manually to a workflow and running through that process as well.
Yeah. And I should add there too, we can definitely test the emails that get sent at each stage, the same way that you can send a test in communications.
Sure. Cool. And automation templates will be included in the module as well. So we'll have a selection of templates. At this last point, I think we have 10, and they will be included as part of this. Definitely, we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it, and kind of standardizing a lot of those templates that we feel will benefit you. That's in our best interest as well. Cool. So does it require Funnel and Roll to integrate it, and does it bring in contact forms from the website? So look, if you do have Funnel and Enroll integrated, it works one and the same because they are talking to each other, and it will bring in the forms that you have embedded within your website as well. Yeah. So those can be used as trigger points, whether it's request a prospectus, book a tour, or just a general enrollment inquiry form. Cool. Can you send an automation starting with a funnel email and then sending further emails depending on their response or open rate?
Yes,
absolutely,
100%.
So on that would be either you could add to the drip campaign, and instead of doing that, I could actually say I could actually choose a custom condition if they've opened or if they've clicked through on one of the emails or one of the links on one of my emails that I've sent, and send them onto a different branch as well. Cool.
Any other questions?
I think there's a few coming. I think I can see Lucy panicked over there in the corner.
On that last question, I'll jump in and read out a few of the options available for emails. So if you're sending an email through automations or potentially through just communications, you will have the ability to make decisions based on whether the email bounced, if it was sent to a contact, whether a contact clicked a link in that email, whether they opened it but didn't click it, whether they just received the email, if they received it but didn't open it, if they were sent the email, sent but didn't reply, a bunch of things. So if it was marked as spam is another big one. So you can make decisions based on that. If you think that maybe your drip campaigns are too aggressive, you can kind of monitor whether people are marking you as spam and address that.
Cool. This one might be more a technical conversation for after the fact, but I'll just read it out, and we can reach out to you directly, and you can have a chat to Tim or one of our developers. From an IT perspective, can an HTTP GET request be made as an action to make an external API call to our Cisco LMS?
Yeah, so it isn't going to be in the first version, but one of the actions that we're going to add to automations is going to be to do a webhook. So that'll send whatever the model is that's moving through the automation. In this case, it would be the lead and its guardians, and all of the properties associated with that. And we can also handle authentication with those endpoints and things as well.
Cool. So that might not make sense to many of you. I kind of hung in there, but if it did, hopefully that helps out answer your question. Okay, great. So did you say all emails sent on automation will appear on a lead's activity information? Yes. So on that timeline, absolutely all leads will be, all automations that occur will actually be mapped on the timeline, both on the timeline of that family, but also in the automations module, there'll be an activity log, and you'll be able to see the progress at each lead and action that's been made for each automation. All right, so another one here we've got SMS support. So
SMS is coming.
Yeah, SMS. This is something that we've literally done a lot of the kind of labor for. The big question is we're just implementation of that. I know this is something that you and I have talked about a lot. I know for me, from my experience with schools, a lot of like RSVPs for events and so on. A lot of schools want to use SMS. So look, we're well and truly aware of the request for that, and it's on it's the roadmap for next year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. There's one more.
Cool. Can you track emails via Outlook back to the inquiry record? So it captures all correspondence. And I know this is again the conversation that we've had a lot about doing this, and this is not with automations.
Yeah, this has been it's been a system for quite a long time. The limitations around that is you don't know. You might have a family with multiple guardians, and they have children from separate families. So the children may not even be related, but you receive email correspondence from one guardian and you don't know which lead it is for every single time. We can make best guesses, but we don't know it for sure. So that's something we're trying to overcome. Once we do, we'll 100% will introduce a feature like that.
And that's been something that we've put a lot of consideration to. I know we've sat down a lot of times and discussed how we're going to tackle that. I wish it was as simple as just adding it to a family, but unfortunately with the different children
family
and structures, it can be quite complex. But thank you, appreciate that. And obviously on our updates, so if you do go to updates.digistorm.com, we release all of our new features and functionality. I would encourage you to just bookmark it or check it, or I know you get sent emails as well. But as they come, we'll certainly be releasing them on here. And that email question, there's so much demand for it. When we do it, we'll be doing a webinar such as what we've done today.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going, Lucy. Cool. I think we've got a couple more questions coming through. Yes, so this is a good one. So can you run lead filters to give an overview of who has received what email in their automation, in an automation, so we can see in one overview what leads have received them?
Yeah, that is possible at the moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
We can show you how to do that as well. Give it a little bit more.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. Test them. I will say we are going to be pushing through a lot of more content out about this. So you'll see a lot of videos coming through about best practice. We've already got a number of blog posts written about workflow or automations that we feel that you should set up. So we're pushing those out. So please keep an eye out. If you don't go to our blog already, we highly recommend it. Blog.digistorm.com is the address. I think that's all the questions for now. Look, if you do have any after this, feel free to just email marketing@digistorm.com if you'd like to be put into consideration for a demo in the coming few weeks. Please send marketing@digistorm.com and we'll get you a CSM, or reach out to your customer success manager. We'll get them to reach out to you directly as well. But look, really, really appreciate you reaching out. Oh, we got one more question before I jump in. No?
No,
Okay.
that's
No?
it.
All right. Cool. Well, we'll end that there. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day. Yeah, it's been great chatting to you today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Cool. Take care.
See ya.